Life is a struggle for everyone. Daily as individuals, we walk through life not knowing what's in front of us. People with limited sight or totally blind depend on our guide dogs to lead us through life.
I'm the breeding manager for Guide Dogs for the Blind, and so I oversee Guide Dogs breeding department. Our function is to produce the type of puppies that will become successful guide dogs, and so that would include dogs that are healthy and have the physical characteristics that we need for a guide dog, as well as dogs who have the right temperament to become a guide dog. Puppies are born here in our whelping kennel, and they live here until they're about 8 weeks old, when they leave to go out to their raiser families who raise the puppies for the first about 16 months of their lives before they come in for formal training. The dogs that we use are Labrador Retrievers mostly, and we graduate about 10% of our dogs are Golden Retrievers like Festive here, and another 10% are Lab Golden cross breeds. We're looking to match the best female and the best male together, and depending on which dog that is, you might want a dog that, if you have a softer, more gentle female, then maybe you're looking for a little more energetic, robust male to breed her to. So we look at all the trends of what those dogs have produced previously, and we make decisions about who will breed to who. The puppies at 6 weeks of age will move from that special whelping kennel into what we call the puppy kennel. So it's a different place on campus where they have a little more opportunity to be outside and play in the play yard and interact with other puppies, and we have a whole group of socializers and a socialization plan where the puppies get worked with each day on body handling and starting to wear a leash and collar. They get to play on different types of surfaces, and just in general getting them prepared for the world that they're going to face, and all the socializing that'll happen when they're in the puppy raising program, in order to prepare them to be a service dog when they grow up. And we have what we call puppy trucks, and those are big vans that are outfitted with kennels inside that will do deliveries to various parts of the country. So we have puppy raisers in 9 different states, mostly in the western United States. And so we'll load up puppies, for example, in the puppy truck, and we'll make a trip down to Southern California and Arizona and pass out puppies to their new families that are going to be raising them there. And then they start that adventure of socializing those puppies and getting them ready for their life as a service dog.
I am the puppy raising manager. I supervise the part of the program in which puppy raisers, our volunteers, are raising puppies in their homes from the age of 8 weeks to 15 months old until they are ready to come back to campus for the formal guide work training. Learning how to walk politely on a leash, come when called, obedience, and some puppy handling. I asked him to stay, walked in front of him and called him, and he came immediately directly to me when he was called, which is really essential as a guide dog. When it looked like I was just playing with his paws, I was doing some puppy handling, which means that the dog has to be accustomed to having people handle his feet, his nails, looking at his ears, so it looked like I was just poking around his face, but I was actually making sure that he was comfortable with being handled in that way. What our puppy raisers do for us, besides teaching that kind of basic obedience and politeness on leash, is they work to socialize these puppies so that they can be comfortable out in the world, whether it's in a movie theater, at church, at the fire station, in an airplane. So they're working on exposing these pups to all different kinds of people, all different kinds of places, sights, sounds, smells, the whole thing, so that when they do go out as a working guide with a visually impaired person, that they can be out in the world and they can confront maybe somebody in a wheelchair, or the backfire of a car when they are standing on a street corner, and it's not going to startle them and perhaps put their blind partner at risk. I am a guide dog instructor. I'm actually a senior guide dog instructor. We train the dogs using a combination of positive methods and leash cues. So we show them how to do what we want them to do, and then we reward them when they do it right. So once they have good collar response and I can communicate and tell them where to go, we go out into town and I train them to be a guide dog. A guide dog basically leads someone down the street and avoids obstacles, keeps them from running into obstacles, doesn't get distracted, stays focused on their job, and takes them to curbs, from curb to curb basically. So they take them to a curb and then they cross the street and they get to another curb and then they go down the block and take you to the next curb. So that's what a guide dog does, and we train them again with the collar. I show them the path that I want them to take down the street. And when they get to the curbs, they get big rewards. So I'm gonna give them food. Food is a reward that we use for training because we use Labradors and they're all very into the food. And then they want to get to the curbs, so that's their goal. As they leave one curb, they're waiting to get to the next curb. So that's the basics of the training that we do. And then it also involves once the dogs have that basic skill of taking someone from curb to curb, then we're going to add in different things in the environment. So then you've got people that dogs have to take you around, and there are cars that dogs have to determine whether it's safe to step in front of or not. So that's all aspects of the training that we do. Other things that are kind of fancy that they do are they go on escalators. So working in buildings is a whole nother skill set because there's a lot more obstacles, and there's stairs that they have to go on, and there's escalators, and then there's lots and lots of people. And then at the very end of training, we are going to test their skills. So the instructor will put on a blindfold and they will work a 45-minute route with the dog. Someone will spot them and test the dog's skills. So there's someone following behind, writing down how the dog did on each skill. So curbs and what the dog's pace is, and if they go straight in crossings. And then if they pass that test, then they can become a guide dog.
My name is Hunter, and Linnea is my first guide dog, and I have had her for 7 months. And Linnea makes me feel like I finally belong again into society, and she just helps me out, and we go everywhere together. It's awesome. With Linnea, I am allowed to be myself. I am not afraid to shine on my own without the help of others. And Linnea makes me free to be independent and be who I am.
Bristol is my second dog, and I lost my sight due to diabetic retinopathy 21 years ago. So up to that point, I was your typical adult, doing all the normal things, doing sporting events, driving cars, all the normal activities. And then over a course of about 3 years, I lost my sight. And through that time period, I learned how to read Braille, how to use adaptive technology so I could use computers. And what I feel probably is most important was learning to travel independently. For me, the big change was my confidence. I was a cane traveler, but once I started working with a guide dog, I became a much more confident traveler. I was willing to go, especially my example is always the airport. Before, I was a little hesitant to go through the airport with the rope lines and the security with the cane. I felt that kind of awkward, concerned about bumping into people. Once I started using a dog, that concern went away because simply dog helped me guide through the lines, go to the security checkpoint, go through it in much greater ease and comfort. And of course, dog's a great icebreaker. People relax, they talk to you much calmer, much more appropriate than for me than when I was using my cane. People were more standoffish and seemed to be more distant. Just has made my life just overall, easier and a lot more fun, I believe. And it's just, I enjoy traveling with a dog.
Our dogs give us a sense of freedom. With their ability to lead the way safely, we can go anywhere. Our dogs truly give us the independence that fully sighted people already have.
This is where the chapter ends. A new one now begins. Time has come for letting go. The hardest part is when you know all of these years when we were here are ending. But I'll always remember we have had the time of our lives, and now the pages turned, the stories we will write. We have had the time of our lives, and I will not forget the faces left behind. It's hard to walk away from the best of days, but if it has to end, I'm glad you have been my friend in the time of our lives.